LNG bunkering in Asia, fueling a promising future. The requirement of a mandatory reduction of sulfur content in bunker fuel proposed by the International Maritime Organization (IMO) poses a challenge to the global shipping industry. Liquefied natural gas (LNG) is a great alternative fueling solution for ship owners because it has zero sulfur content compared to other fuel oil and marine diesel oil. With potential advantages of LNG as a bunker fuel and the pace of recent development, it is argued that the probability of LNG displacing oil as the preferred marine fuel is likely to continue to increase. However, the Asian market for LNG bunkering faces a number of challenges, notably the lack of LNG-fueled vessels in the region, investment required in LNG bunkering facilities and infrastructure, as well as development of new safety regulation, all of which are key elements impacting the fundamentals of LNG demand. Today, the LNG bunkering market is significantly growing due to stricter environmental regulations across the globe and in spite of the depressed oil price. Particularly in Asia, LNG bunkering has gained a lot of attention. The Singapore Maritime Port Authority (MPA) recently announced its plan of launching an LNG bunkering pilot program (LBPP), which is aimed at developing Singapore as a key LNG bunkering hub. The development of LNG bunkering is, however, inevitably plagued with challenges. Nonetheless, given the potential advantages of LNG as bunker and the pace of recent development, the probability of LNG displacing crude oil as the preferred marine fuel is likely to increase. This article seeks to improve an overview of the driver for the development of LNG bunkering in Asia and also endeavors to explore the issues and challenges faced in the growth of LNG as maritime fuel. Drivers, reason for growth of LNG bunkering in Asia. Stricter environmental regulation and implementation. Before 2010, the shipping industry was perhaps one of the few emission sources in the world that remained unregulated. Subsequently, the IMO, a United Nations specialized agency involved in setting the standard for safety and security of international shipping and prevention of marine pollution, began introducing stringent standards and regulation for the prevention of pollution caused by ships. The IMO first mandated that all ships had to reduce their fuel sulfur content from 4.5% to 3.5% in year 2012, with a further reduction to 0.5% by 2020. At the end of 2014, IMO again announced that ship trading is designating emission control areas (ECA) will have to use on-board fuel oil with a sulfur content of no more than 0.1% from 1 January 2015. It is common ground that LNG has attractive advantages over crude oil in terms of its price, energy content, energy per unit mass, and environmental footprint. Due to mandatory environmental regulation within the IMO designated ECA, LNG bunkering ports are presently primarily saturated in Europe and the USA. Though there are no binding sulfur emission restrictions on shipping fuels in Asia at present, there are positive moves which suggest a growing recognition of LNG as a primary bunker fuel. For example, Hong Kong recently started requiring ships at port to use low sulfur fuels. There are also proposals to extend the ECA to include Japan and Southeast Asia. In the same vein, it is widely speculated that regulations similar to those in Hong Kong are planned for the green berth in Singapore's Jurong port. In fact, the Singapore Green Port Program (GPP) is already rewarding 15 until 25% reduction in port use for vessels that can demonstrate emission at less than 1% mass of sulfur while at the port and/or use type approved abatement or scrubber. In China, the Ministry of Transportation has recently issued a special action plan concerning ship and port pollution prevention, which include promoting the establishment of ship air pollutant (ECA) and calls for active promotion of LNG as marine fuel. With stricter regulation on sulfur emission to be implemented in Asia, it is likely that the Asian LNG bunkering market will continue to grow in the coming years. Price differential. While it is evident that the demand for LNG in Asia is partly attributed to stringent environmental regulation, the price of LNG as marine fuel has also provided impetus for the growth of LNG bunkering. Asian LNG long-term contract prices have often been linked with crude oil prices for decades. This is because oil was considered to be the main competing fuel against LNG, and there has not been a better indicator to represent the general energy market trend in the region. Although recently there has been a move away from using crude oil as a price index, regardless of whichever index is used, natural gas has generally been cheaper than prevalent bunkers fuels. This hasn't changed despite the oil price collapse that began in mid-2014. From a ship owner's perspective, the lower price of LNG compared to traditional oil-based bunker fuel, complemented with policy and regulatory measures that penalize the use of more pollutive bunker oil, has definitely made the switch to gas an increasingly compelling argument. Hurdles, challenge to overcome, a lack of LNG infrastructure. Despite the apparent benefit of using LNG as fuel, many believe that the lack of or absence of LNG bunkering infrastructure in Asia poses the biggest challenge for the adoption of LNG as marine fuel. The issues relating to the investment in or financing of LNG infrastructure plays a significant role in painting the future prospect of Asian LNG bunkering project. Ship owners have been reluctant to invest in LNG-fueled ships until they are assured that LNG infrastructure are in place. At the same time, however, terminal owners or operators are unlikely to make significant investment unless there is already a credible demand for LNG bunkers. As such, unless this conundrum is resolved perhaps with capital or financial support from ASEAN governmental authorities, there will be a significant hurdle to the growth of LNG bunkers.